Welcome to Business Talk with Meghan McNulty, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of business success and reveals the strategies, insights, and stories that drive these professionals to thrive in the ever-evolving world of business. Whether you're an established entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply fascinated by the world of commerce, this podcast is your front row seat to learn from the best. Each episode, Meghan will bring you engaging interviews with professionals from diverse industries who will share their triumphs, lessons learned, and the insights they've gained along the way.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We're doing well. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for being here. This is JP and Christian, and they're here to talk to us about their business that they started here in Dana Point in Orange County, California. And I guess, how should we get started? Can you guys tell us about the ale house?
Yeah, I think we can just kind of talk about how it came to fruition and how we started. Christian, if you want to start off with the history of why we got into the business in the first place.
So it was a cold spring day in March of '84. Okay. So we were in Dublin, Ireland for the Navy Notre Dame game back in 2012, September 2012. And we were so impressed with how the Irish get together as a community, the vibes that the Irish pubs had. And we knew we had to bring something like that back to the States. And so fast forward a couple years to an Angels game where we had a couple beers, because all great ideas come over drinking beers with your brother.
Absolutely.
And we thought to ourselves, we have to open some type of craft beer establishment in our hometown of Dana Point. That's really where it started. And the next morning I woke up and I started an LLC through LegalZoom.
Okay.
And we hit the ground
And
running.
that was it. The idea was there. Okay. So now, did you guys grow up in Dana Point?
We did.
Dana Point, Laguna Niguel.
Okay.
Christian graduated from Dana Hills. I went to Aliso. We're like right on that border.
Okay.
But he's a couple years older than me, 4 years older than me.
So basically the next day you're like, I'm going to have Dana Point Ale House? That's how you guys figured it out, or?
So originally we really wanted to utilize the great weather here in South County, right?
Okay.
Southern California. So we thought the first idea was a beer garden. So we shopped around town, prior to kind of the revitalization of what's going on in Dana Point. There were a lot of vacant lots, and we figured, you know what, let's set up shop. We'll do a shipping container, right? We'll do just a couple beers on draft, and people, can come out and enjoy the sun. So we worked on that for a couple years, but once we got to the building department, things changed dramatically, and we were having to work with the Coastal Commission. We had to have EPA reports, soil reports, and we were like, okay,
it was out of the ballpark for us.
Yes. Our budget ballooned 20-fold. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and we decided, you know what, let's try to get a brick and mortar spot where we can just do a tap room. Brewing was never necessarily on the table. I think to open a brewery, you first and foremost need a couple $1 million. But you also need an excellent master brewer, marketing, the whole 9 yards. So we looked at it and said, we already know what good beer is. Instead of trying to make our own good beer, why don't we just carry other people's good beer and have a rotating list? So as time went on, friends and family and people we just met throughout the community started coming on board as investors, and we ended up getting the spot at Prado West, which is the mixed-use buildings in Dana Point, which have restaurant retail spaces with apartments above.
Amazing. Okay, that's a great location. There's lots going on there, lots of restaurants and all that. So JP, maybe I'd like to hear, so I know that your family's been involved in Dana Point. So your dad was involved in the city.
Yeah, he was the mayor of Laguna Niguel.
Okay. So, coming back to your roots and what did that experience with having your dad, involved help you guys decide to have a business here?
Oh, it was huge. He's actually basically like our liaison with the city and helped us with everything from getting permits to, getting contractors in and helping build out the space. So his experience to help me and Christian get it going definitely helped a lot. Because he still knows a lot of people within the city or even the county. Thanks, Dad.
Our dad's very proud of the fact that he got Genkai approved back in 82.
Okay.
So he worked for the county before he was at the city. He also got McDonald's approved, right?
Okay.
PCH.
Very nice. Okay, so you guys kind of knew a little bit about how to get established. How is it working as a family? So you guys are a family business, and A lot of people that listen to this podcast are business owners and entrepreneurs and have family in the business.
Yeah.
What advice do you have with working with family?
It's a lot of fun. No, it's a lot of fun, and I think the biggest thing is that, you know, my brother and I are so close, even though we're 4 years apart. He's my best friend. Even if we get into our little arguments, we always do what's right for the business and what's right for the ale house. You know, so we don't bicker as much as people would think owning a family business. His wife actually helps out too and pours beers on the weekends every once in a while. And then our good friend Eric as well kind of do this rotating staff where it's like one weekend I'll work and help Christian out, or if he needs a night with the wife and kids, I'll step in and pour some beers.
Yeah, it's very helpful. I know they say don't get into business with family or friends, but I disagree. I mean, if you have a good relationship with your family, I'll be honest with you, us being a family has only made us tighter as a business as opposed to having outside.
Right.
You know. So it's great. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I think it's wonderful. Yeah. What does a typical day look like running an ale house?
I'll let Christian answer that one because he's there a little
If he
bit.
shows up after and just has a beer.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you younger brother? No,
He usually opens every day.
Yeah.
You open besides the weekends.
When Eric opens on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been open 3 years in March, right? The first 6 months we were open every single day from 12 to 9 and then 12 to 10 on weekends.
Okay.
But I whittled those hours down to what business permits, right? Or when we're going to get people in. And because we're not a food service establishment, most people come to us after lunch or, you know, before dinner and whatnot. So I get to the ale house about 1:30 and I just start setting up shop.
Okay.
You know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are kind of my, we are closed Mondays, but just doing the beer ordering, cleaning. I always joke and say that I thought, owning my own tap room, I'd just be listening to punk rock music, drinking beers with friends. But I do everything from beer ordering to cleaning the bathrooms to cleaning the patio to
cleaning the tap system.
But also, you know, just also being educational to people who come in and don't know much about beer, know a lot about beer, and want to pick my brain. So it's a lot of fun. Okay. It really is. It's physical.
Right.
I am on my feet for several hours a day, and I don't
lifting kegs.
Yeah, I don't sit down all that often, but outside of that, I'm always interacting with people, and it's a great time.
Do you serve wine? Just curious.
So we don't, and there's a big reason for that. First and foremost, we try to get the best craft beers that we can get our hands on, right? So if we were going to do wine, we'd have to make the same commitment. I couldn't be selling these phenomenal beers, but then I won't even mention any, you know, let's call it $2 chuck, right?
Right. Okay.
But also with our license, and this sounds weird, but children are permitted on site.
Okay.
So a big draw to us, especially on the weekends, are families coming in, right?
Okay.
With their strollers, or it's usually not older kids, right? It's infants or toddlers that parents are on a walk with, and then come and stop and have a beer.
Okay.
Now, that's with our Type 40 license. With the Type 41, if you do beer and wine, and you're a non-eating establishment, you cannot have minors on site.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we would actually have to turn away a vast majority of our business.
I would say 80% of our business is usually young families or just families in general. We have a 80-person beer garden that's just directly to the right-hand side of our establishment that we built out a year and a half ago. Is it 2 years or something?
Almost 2 years.
So almost 2 years. Which also doubled our capacity for clientele. Okay. So that's been super cool. And we've done live music there on the weekends, especially summer, like Christian said, with the good weather. People like to ask if they can play and do some fun stuff.
Can you bring your dogs out to the outside beer garden?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
dogs are actually welcome in the ale house as well.
Yeah, really? Okay, so dogs and kids. Okay.
Dogs and kids.
I love it.
On Saturdays, we prefer dogs outside just so it doesn't get crazy.
Right.
Okay. You get 10 Grand Mastiffs in there, and it's
a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, we actually, so the developers, when we first opened, we just had the 1,300 square foot tap room. A year after that, they gave us a beer garden, another about 1,000 square feet, and they opened a dog park, which is actually open to the public. It was really catered for the people living upstairs, but anybody's welcome to go there. Okay. So, parents will let their kids and dogs.
Yeah, run in the back lot, watch them from the beer garden.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. That's amazing. I didn't realize that. So now, if we came by on like a Saturday with our dogs and and kids, you guys don't serve food, but you can bring food in, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the rules on that?
Yeah, no, we encourage people to actually bring in food, because again, we're not a food establishment. We do little snacks. We do a charcuterie board.
Okay.
Gotta shout out Mason.
Yeah, Mason does our charcuterie boards for us, which is a restaurant down in Dana Point.
Oh.
And then we do like beef jerky, and we actually do juice flights for kids with goldfish.
Ooh.
So they can, be with their parents. So
we don't encourage children drinking, but
the juice flights work. But we encourage food. We have 3 spots that are very close to us. Shout out to the businesses in Dana Point. We have Truly Pizza, Jack's, and Home Slice, which is another pizza spot. Jack's is an Italian restaurant, and we actually have QR codes inside of the ale house that you can scan that pops up the menu. And normally you pick up from Truly and Jack's. Depending, Home Slice has been really cool about if you just call them up and say, hey, I just ordered on the QR code, but I'm at the Dana Point Ale House, they'll actually they're 3 doors down, so they just walk up with the pizzas and whatever you order from them and set it down at your table or in the beer garden.
Okay.
I think we've probably thrown away thousands of pizza boxes in the last 2 years.
We do recycle.
Yeah, we do.
Wonderful.
But it's been cool, and then we do have people that reach out about doing birthday parties and reunions. We do special events. Christian's wife, Whitney, runs our special events for us. So we've done weddings there. We've done kids' birthday parties, high school reunions.
I was actually voted most likely not to show up to the high school reunion in 2002, Dana Hills, and I hosted the 20-year.
So you were there. Okay.
That was full circle.
Yeah, that was full circle for you.
But
wow.
and then with summer coming up, we do food pop-ups, like pop-up tents, and we've had a couple food trucks come out that have been super successful. Try not to hinder on the restaurants around us, but they've been super cool. They know who's coming in, and we try to get
cuisine that
barbecue, more of that beer food, barbecue or tacos, burritos, those kinds of things.
Okay. I love it. Tell me a little bit about, do you guys brew your own beer?
We don't.
Want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we first talked about it, it was actually on the docket after that Angel game. This was 10 years ago, 11, I think it was 2014. We were at an Angel game, and we're just like, the craft beer industry in Anaheim at that time was exploding. A lot of different breweries were opening up and making amazing beer, and there weren't too many down here in South Orange County. There were a couple that are still making great beer today, but we thought about it for a minute, and it's kind of like what Christian said earlier, is like, if we want to do everything the best we can do, and if we can't make great, amazing beer, then it's not worth it to us.
Right. Okay.
So everything is, we have nothing proprietary at the ale house. Everything is ordered through breweries or distributions, and we just try to get the best craft beer California has to offer, from Santa Rosa all the way down to the Mexican border.
I love it. And then you can also educate, I want to come in and have you educate me on the different beers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I know there's a story behind, each one, so.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun being able, every week that you come in, there's a different draft list. So you're always trying something new. Okay. For instance, the one we gave you.
So what is this one?
That's a tropical mist. It's a blonde citrus ale from one of our favorite breweries, Pure Project.
Okay.
Now, there are 2 beers I keep on at all times. That is one of them. The other being the Shamrock Rebellion Flogging Molly beer from Rad Beer.
Yeah.
But this beer right here is beer nerds and novices alike.
Okay.
Love this beer. I mean, it's a phenomenal beer. And
very light, easy to drink. Has a lot of flavor though to it, where it's not like one of those bigger beer brands that just kind of comes out flat.
Okay.
You're just drinking wasted calories. This is very delicious.
Okay,
people
got
would
it.
riot if we took that off. So we always have that beer on. And
Okay.
It's a great crushable beer.
Tropical Mist Pure Project.
Pure Project made with local San Diego citrus fruit peels.
Oh, okay.
And then we also do offer seltzers on draft and kombucha for the non-beer drinkers, or gluten-free option.
Gluten-free people? Okay, got it. So What would you say, like, some of the challenges are owning your own business? If for people that are interested in starting a business themselves.
I think it's the best thing that I've ever done. I think on like a personal level, right? The uncertainty, being your own boss it's the first time in my life. I was 38 when I opened this. I've always had structure, right? I've always had a paycheck. I've always had, health insurance. I've had all these things that you knew was going to come. And if you got sick, you could have your sick days. If you wanted to go on vacation, you plan ahead.
Right.
You don't get that as an entrepreneur, right? And
I'm aware of that, yes.
Right. So, and it doesn't really matter to me much because I have my 3-year-old and almost 1-year-old. So I don't have sick days or vacation days anyway. But you're going into uncharted waters, and it's at first a little scary, but you just roll with it. You're on a wave, and it's the best experience I've ever had. So, there are those days where you don't feel well, but you don't get to not feel well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just a little bit of too, like Christian and I talk about this all the time, is, 90% of people don't jump into the deep end to be your own boss or an entrepreneur or start a business or be a part of a business. So we're always trying to just figure out new ways to make the ale house better every day. I think that's probably a big challenge, is trying to figure out what cool new thing we can bring to the table at the ale house for our clientele and for our fans and the locals that come in every weekend to say hello and have a beer with us. That's a challenge. Because again, the industry is always changing, and people are always going to love certain styles of beers, but it's also trying to get those same people to come back all the time. And just trying, again, it's with the food trucks or the live music, or, we do an anniversary party every year. We've tried to do a St. Patrick's Day little shindig. This year it's on a Monday, which we're closed, so we'll have to party on Saturday.
Okay.
But we're always just trying to find new, cool ways to, give back to everybody that supported us.
I also want to touch on the fact that, with the revitalization of not just Dana Point Harbor, but Dana Point in and of itself, right?
Right.
Outside of the Schwack and Jack's on Del Prado,
okay.
In our little block area, we were the first new business in Dana Point on that side. So it was the first year. It was just such a trip being over there. When the city shut down, that street got dark.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, Maison opened. And that kind of started the river flowing, and then Truly opened, and the dam broke, and now you have all these retail home across the street, and now it's bustling. But for the first year and a half, it was really just us on that side of the street, and trying to get people in the doors. What kind of marketing do we do? I was just talking to a gentleman about this the other day. Door hangers, that's not our style. Our demographic, albeit is very vast and eclectic. It's also small, right? Comparatively speaking, maybe hospitality or restaurants or whatnot, right? How many people drink craft beer in Dana Point?
Right.
And so we just wanted to hone in on that and how we could.
Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't. I mean, I can only assume by running our business, and
there's a lot.
There's a lot of people that love craft beer.
Well, like craft beer, yeah. Do you guys have regulars that come in all the time? So, yep.
So we have a lot of day ones that first day they were there, and 3 years later they're still
coming in weekly. Okay.
They are the ones that have kept us going.
Okay.
We can't be more appreciative to them, because without them, the house would have never succeeded the way it has.
Can you tell us something like memorable about the business or about the restaurant that you want people to know about?
Honestly, I just think the support from the community has been so phenomenal. There's our friend Josh met his future boss at one of the trolley hops that the chamber puts on, and he's like, I'm in my dream job because of the ale house, and I'm like, dude, you would have found your dream job, and it's so cool that he associates the ale house with that. Or we've had first dates at the ale house. We've had
a wedding.
We've
had two weddings.
Two weddings. Matter of fact, one of our best friends and employees had his wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just stuff like that. makes it special. It's one of the reasons we opened the Ale House, right? It was community.
Both of our kids' first birthdays.
Yeah, first birthdays. We had an Elvis-themed birthday for my son Bear, who was born on Elvis's birthday.
Oh, wow, okay.
And Alice in Wonderland for Lily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I also, another big part, I mean, just yesterday I received an email from a gentleman outside of Nottingham, England. Now, him and his family come to Dana Point every year, and they have for like 15 years, right? This is their vacation spot. Unfortunately, this year, their children are in Australia, so they opted just to go to Australia and skip California. But they had a layover in San Diego, and they're actually coming up tonight just to come to the Ale House and then go back down tomorrow morning and hop on a flight to Australia.
That is so cool.
So,
that is so
it's
cool.
stories like that that just, it just makes me so happy. Or one of my favorite stories was there's a couple that comes in, and they were in deep Mexico in some surf resort, right on like the Pacific side. They said they've been drinking margaritas all day, and they go into dinner and did this little taqueria. And they said it's super dark, and there's a guy sitting at the bar with a Dana Point Ale House shirt on. And I was like, what? Like we've gone international. That's,
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a good story.
Yeah, we
That's
do have some locals or people that will tag us on Instagram with our merchandise, like around the world.
Okay.
I think that's super.
Okay, and you're both
Cool.
wearing the merchandise. You got the hat
of
on,
course.
the shirt on.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You got to
our
support
stickers
the
are in
business.
Copenhagen,
Oh, wow.
Tokyo,
Okay.
New York City,
Okay, look at that.
Austin. So.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an active Instagram account?
We do. We have a very, very active. Actually, going back to marketing, it's probably the one thing marketing-wise we do exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I all praise to my wife for that one.
Amazing.
She runs it. We actually, it's her. She teamed up with OC Parent Guide. So they are an Instagram account that does things for parents. You know, this weekend we have the Christmas train or the Halloween, right? So we teamed up with her to do the kids' juice flight. Now, Whitney came up with that idea last summer, and people love it. The parents just love it. But January 3rd, they ran an ad through OC Parents Guide. It had over, I think, 250,000 views, and it was genius. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. We firsthand saw the power of social media. So it was, buy 2 beers, get a free kids flight. And our weekends were busier than summer. This month, OC Parent Guide, who's phenomenal, we have to thank her, she put out the 3 most family-friendly breweries in Orange County. It was Hangar 24 Irvine, Brewery X, Anaheim, and the Dana Point Ale House in Dana Point. And again, we've just been slammed.
Okay.
So
thank
you, Whitney.
The power of Instagram and marketing. Okay. Yeah. I like it. How did you guys decide how to design the inside of the restaurant? Because I know you have something cool in there. But anyway.
Yeah, no. So just growing up in South Orange County, and again, this is probably the big dad for this. We've always had a huge passion for history, and I think also just going to like Dublin and you going to New York and me Boston or Chicago and seeing these old school, dark wood but very lively bars and restaurants. Really definitely gave us inspiration to bring that to the Ale House while incorporating the history of Dana Point. So we actually do have a piece of the Pilgrim that sank, unfortunately, during COVID, but that's one of our light fixtures right above the bar. And yeah, I mean, if you want to say anything else, but I think it's just a passion for history.
So this old Pilgrim ship sank during COVID, and you guys got the one piece of it, and now it's
it's what is it? I can't even remember the name of it.
Well, the whole idea with Dana Point changing was we wanted to keep a historical Dana Point. Like we wanted to keep our home that vibe. There's a new vibe in Dana Point, which is not bad at all. I love it. I think it's great. But we also wanted to keep that old school Dana Point alive. So even our logo right there, the Pilgrim, was actually used
the logo. Okay, here it is.
By S.H. Woodruff. He was one of the original developers of Dana Point. He developed Hollywoodland. And he came down to Dana Point hoping that it would be kind of a getaway for the stars, basically. But then the Great Depression hit. Dana Point didn't really start coming about until like the 50s. But this Pilgrim he used on his letterhead in the 19-teens and 20s. So we incorporated that into our logo. And so we just kind of built the Ale House off of that, kind of New England-esque. Richard Henry Dana is from Boston.
Cool.
Again, the Pilgrim, it was a floating museum.
Okay.
It was built in Denmark in, I think, 1945.
Okay.
And the county bought it over here in, I think it was 75, 78, something like that. And so in fourth grade, when the kids here in town learned about California history, they got to spend the night on the Pilgrim.
Oh, they let the kids go spend the night there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
it was a pinnacle for everybody in elementary school except for me, because the county went bankrupt in '94. So my class did not get to. So I've always had this chip on my shoulder.
Right.
I want to feel some ownership of the ale house.
And then I went in '98.
Pilgrim. And then,
Okay. Okay.
So
you guys have a piece of this boat hanging in the ale house.
we do. It sunk, unfortunately, and that's up for debate. But it sunk in 4 days after the COVID lockdown.
Okay.
And we were able to procure a big piece of the main cabin. And I have to thank JP and his wife, because this thing weighs about 300 pounds.
Okay, wow.
And I called him in the morning and I said, hey, we need to put this in your garage. And it sat there for 6 months while we stripped it down and made it look like it is now with the natural wood.
That's so amazing. I love that story. It's nice to have some charm, and places aren't so commercial everywhere, and with the historical background, like you said, too. Yeah. So really special. Yeah. And when people come to visit, they can be like, yeah, we're locals, and this is the story.
Oh,
and,
they love it. We have people come in that actually are like, where's the piece of the Pilgrim? And we're like, above your head.
We did our first anniversary shirt was in memoriam.
Oh, I'm wearing it right now.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah, look at that. That's so cool.
Yeah, that sold out pretty quickly.
It did, yeah.
People
That's so
really
neat.
enjoyed that one.
I know a lot of people don't know the history of the towns they live in, and
yeah,
that's something.
Or where they're going, because we're a relatively newer country, right? So, yeah.
It's super neat. San Juan Capistrano, where we're obviously at right now, it's one of the oldest cities in California. Like Los Rios Street, the neighborhood, that's one of the oldest neighborhoods in all of California. So, I mean, as far as the U.S. history is concerned, I mean, there's a lot of history here.
Right. Really interesting. Okay. So now, do you guys have plans to open up any other businesses? Now that you guys are officially entrepreneurs for a while now? So
originally, we thought to ourselves, well, could we cookie cutter this? Could we go to another city? Mm-hmm. I think obviously it works well with the history of Dana Point, but I mean, it'd be really cool to do maybe out in Temecula or down in Oceanside. Or we just wanted to get off the ground, repay our investors is one of our biggest goals, and we were going to move on from there. Now, as luck would have it, I met some other business owners here in town and have become very close friends with them. And I can't say too much, but there will be a music venue coming here to San Juan Capistrano. Okay. So we're in the conditional use permit process with that, and we have some awesome people involved, and we're just we could not be more excited.
So a music venue business. Okay.
Music venue, but
I like it. So you start one business and you go to the next.
You go to the next, but this will definitely be incorporated with all the relationships that we've made with the breweries. We look to have a phenomenal tap list. This stage, we will have liquor and wine available, which will also be on par with our great tap list. But incorporating music's always been a passion of mine, and people come into the ale house all the time and compliment us on our music playlist. Okay. Except the one gentleman who said we played too much Social Distortion, which I have to completely disagree with, but teach their own.
Okay. Very nice.
It's a lot of punk, rockabilly, country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every time then a Billy Joel song.
Yeah, or Guns N' Roses, rock and roll. Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on who's working that day and what mood we're in.
Okay.
I have to delete Eric's playlist every now and then with his
do you let the customers pick the music sometimes?
No.
Yeah, we have
forget about that.
No, we keep it to the employees only.
So funny. Do you guys have any special events coming up
So we do. We first and foremost, one of our favorite holidays, St. Patrick's Day. We're going to throw a big party. I think we're going to do Sunday, the 16th. Okay. That'll be a fun day. Okay. And then our third anniversary party is going to be Saturday, April 6th. Okay. So look for a good food vendor, some good beers on draft, maybe some deals, and some merch giveaways. Yeah.
Who designed the merch, by the way? How'd you come up with that?
So I had a graphic designer that used to work at Shady Canyon Golf Club with my wife, and he did a phenomenal job with me. I incorporated everything in our logo.
Yeah.
You have the pilgrim from S.H. Woodruff. You have the rope for the city seal. Okay. And then we actually used the Perpetua regular font that's used in the Lantern District for that. So once we had this logo, I knew, as JP had mentioned earlier, everything the ale house touches, we want to be of best quality. And so I actually have a friend of mine who owned Trade Noir sunglasses, Joe Prenevos. His father also happens to be the treasurer of the Historical Society of Dana Point. So that's where we got a lot of our pictures and this and that.
Okay.
So I put my full trust in Joe, and he just knocked it out of the park. I mean, so
we probably went through 20 renditions of our logo.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot of work.
But I love this. I couldn't love the logo anymore. And Joe, the stuff from the quality of the shirts to the print, the hats. I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah.
So if you ever need a merch guy, reach out to Joe Prenevos at CA Goods.
Okay, great. I know that because merch is its own business entity in and of itself. Everyone's into that. So I love it. So JP, is there anything else you would like to share with us about being an entrepreneur and running the ale house?
It's just been a lot of fun.
Okay.
Like we're going on 3 years, but it feels like 5.
Okay. Okay.
I think you might have a little bit more years under your belt with you being there more than I am these days.
The days are long, but the years are short, as they say.
Yeah. What would you say about it?
I've had a phenomenal time. I couldn't have done this without my wife, without JP, without our friend Eric Manthe. And then again, I cannot stress enough the support of the community. It's really what has kept us going. So I guess my last piece would just be, if you've never been to the Dana Point Ale House, there's a spot for everybody. We'd love to have you come down, share a pint, have a chat, and listen to, some good music.
And what's your Instagram handle?
At Dana Point Ale House. And then we also are DanaPointAleHouse.com. You can see our live tap list or follow us on Untapped to see all the new beers that come on. And but Instagram is really where we place all of our events, food vendors, whatnot. So.
Good to know. Okay. Well, I'm super excited for you guys, and maybe I'll come out on the 16th for the St. Patty's Day.
We appreciate you having us.
This was fun. It's always nice to hear from entrepreneurs and how they started their business and what goes in behind it, and especially people that are family. So I think you got the experience that you saw in Ireland here. I think you did. Yeah.
We're working on it.
We're getting there. Definitely. We're getting there.
So nice. Okay. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to the Business Talk podcast and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us grow and improve. Thank you for joining us today. This has been another episode of Business Talk with Meghan McNulty.